Hello, hello. Today we're talking about more weird permissions. Today specifically, we're going to talk about something called access control lists, or ACLs. So we've already discussed how permissions in Unix work, but you'll notice it's kind of broad, right? We have three sets: the owner, the group that owns it, and then everyone else. But what if you wanted more granular control over who can do what to that file? In that case, ACLs come into place. It is another set of permissions that allow us to control things on a specific user basis. So to do it, we just run get facle to view these ACLs and then set facle to set them. Here's a tutorial by Red Hat explaining how it works. It's pretty good, but let's get into the vulnerability. So the whole thing about ACLs is we can set permissions specific to a user. So what we would do is for the file we wanted, for example, like Etsy Shadow, we could set permissions specific to our user that we want. So we could give any random user, like for example, full permissions over that file, and that would be bad. And the crazy thing about ACLs is it's not going to show up in a normal ls. However, it does give us a hint that there will be a plus that we'll see that the ACLs are set. But again, it's not really obvious. So as Blue Team, how do we defend against this? Well, first we can view all ACLs by running this command here. It's going to be recursively getting the facles and removing any base permission. So it's only the extra modifications will be shown. And this is piping errors to devnull just so that errors don't get displayed and fill up our terminal. So first we find everything. Not all of these will be true positives. Some of them are false positives and we'll have to use our own judgment. But for the ones that are unusual that we want to change, we can remove a user from a ACLs for the file by doing set facle tac x. So it's going to exclude that user from the ACL. So let's put that into practice. We have a few vulnerabilities, these two. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to pick my ACL shadow and my ACL password. Forgot my tac m. Silly me. Okay. So I'm going to set up. Yippee. Okay, that's good. And now let's run the checker. Clear. Checker. Okay, we have two vulnerabilities. Let's investigate. So the first thing I said to do was let's enumerate the users. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this command. Get facle tac r to make it recursive, and then s to do the only the special ones. And the directory is going to be the root directory, and I'm going to pipe out output to devnull so we don't see errors. And we just wait for this to finish running to see if it detects anything unusual. And we'll see it does find some things. So you'll see that a lot of these, okay, let's understand this output. So this is the file, owner, group that owns it, and permissions. So a lot of this is very similar to our ls tac al. You know, this part is the same, and the user permissions, the group permissions, the other permissions, that's all the same. The thing is, ACLs add things onto that. So you'll see we now have this user. So Pukey has special permissions over this, where Pukey can read and execute. Even though normally other can do nothing, Pukey specifically can do read and execute on this file. And we'll see a lot of these. I'm just noticing right now it's a lot of devs, so I think that's part of the system setup. So I will ignore these because it's just Pukey having read and execute on these. A log file. Again, admin has special permissions, which we would expect. We want admin to be able to do things to this file. So again, that seems pretty chill. Okay, more logs, more logs. Oh, Etsy password, and that is a lot of things, yikes. So what we see here is that literally everyone has been given read, write, execute permissions over Etsy password. And similarly, over Etsy shadow, everyone has been given read, write, execute permissions. So literally anyone can edit these two files. For example, I'm Pukey. I shouldn't normally be able to edit Etsy shadow, but if I do this, I can just do it, which is incredibly vulnerable, right? So we want to fix this by removing all of these permissions here. How are we going to do that? Well, reference our notes. We can do setFacl-tac-s. So we want to do setFacl-tac-s for every single user on here. Doing it manually is going to take quite some time, so this is where scripting comes in handy. I have a video about scripting basics that we can do, so I'll just talk about some things quickly. So awk tac-f. So I'm going to use awk to parse the fields of my file, and I use tac-f so that I can delimit it based on the colons. I'm just getting the first field of Etsy password. And what this is going to do is going to print all the users because that's the first field in Etsy password. So I'm going to pipe this to a file. Let's call this users.txt. And let's make a script.sh. We always begin with our shebang. And I'm going to do a while loop. So while reads tac all user. Do. Then we have a done where we pipe in users.txt. And I'm going to do setFacl-tac-x user. I think I also need to specify the directory afterwards. So Etsy password, and then setFacl-tac-x user Etsy shadow, and add execute permissions to this. Ooh, okay, this is a lot. Malformed access. What? If I did get facl for Etsy password. Okay. Oh, maybe I need to do setFacl. So if I try to do this, actually let me do Bob first. Etsy password. Then if I do get facl Etsy password. No, Bob is gone. I guess the script just needs to be worked on. So what's happening here? Let me go ahead and just echo this. And run it again to see what's actually here. Okay, it's just doing user. I probably forgot that this should be a variable, so I should do that. Yep, that is completely what I forgot. Silly me. So let me modify this again. So now this should work. Let's see. Oh, seems like it worked. Let's go ahead and get the facls on Etsy password. And hey, we did it. Okay, so that's an example of how scripting is awesome. And it's a live demo. You got to see the mistakes I made and how I debugged it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check if we fixed it. And still not working. Let me make sure that the checker actually works. ls-tacl. Okay, so this is checking if ls-tacl gets the facle. So ls-tacl etc password. Ooh, we see there's still a plus despite me removing all the facles. What happens if I do a get facle on users.txt? What do I see? User group other. Okay, so the last thing that's missing, the difference between this and the other one is that for the other one, we also have a mask. So let's also get rid of the mask. Mask on etc password. Oh, shoot. Exclude, right? Yeah, set facle x. And let's do it on etc shadow as well. Okay. So now if I were to ls-tacl on etc password, we would see, hey, okay, it's gone. There's no longer a plus sign. So if I run my checker there, hey, we did it. So that is ACLs. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.